Hey guys, this is National Master Kevin Yang back at it with another video. So we left off in this position, and I told you, I was going to play, or the knight b6 part, right? If knight f2, knight b6, and this b4 idea. So I just wasn't sure in the game. But Runinja followed through with the plan, which is really good. b4, knight b1, and now queen b6, and then e4 played. So at this moment, I was really not sure how to react to the pawn push, because I knew that, if e5 happened, I could play knight h7, knight f8, and knight to e6. Wouldn't be a big deal. But I decided take, and let's play a5 here, because if you play e5, I'm going to play knight d5, and I'm going to reroute the other knight to e6. And it's pretty good. But if bishop to c4 happens, I'll do my part. I'll trade queen. I'll trade, not queens, bishops. And the reason I trade bishops is because this bishop is a bad bishop, right? You saw it was stuck here. It was looking like a sitting duck. So I trade it, queen to d3, and here I play e6. And I remember I was thinking, what do I do here? I was really unsure. I was like, if queen takes d3, rook takes d3, where is the benefit, right? Do I just castle? Is that what I do? But then there's knight d2 and knight c4, and I'm stuck with this isolated looking pawn, right? So I was thinking, oh, I don't know. But what I missed was after rook takes d3, I have the move c5. If d5 happens, I can take advantage of this e5 square by playing knight to g4. Knight takes g4, I could play pawn takes g4 and play bishop to e5 and take advantage of this e5 square, right? So I could have done that, but in the game, I played e6, thinking, I'm a little bit scared of things happening here. So after queen takes, rook takes, knight d2, I noticed that I don't really like my position, right? Mainly because of this hole right here. And Runinja's doing a great job. But here I could have still played a really good move, c5. What I was worried about is I think I was worried about knight to c4 and coming to d6. But what I didn't realize was after this, knight d6, I could just go king to e7. I thought there was knight to c8, but rook just takes it. So at this point, if rook takes d4 happens, black has a winning move. And the move is just a simple fork, right? Because the f5 square is guarded by the pawn. So that's good. However, I didn't see all of that. So instead, I castled and I played king to h7, thinking, let's trade, right? And what white should do here is white should play bishop to d6, or I would say king to b1, right? Avoid the trade, but also bishop d6 serves another purpose. It prevents me from ever playing c5. So Runinja was really close to doing really well in this game. But after knight d6, I was like, well, I can trade. But what I also missed was I keep forgetting to play c5, right? I'm just scared of d5 for some reason when I have e5. Disrupts the bishop and knight connection. Just didn't see it. I mean, I wasn't having a good day. So I played bishop h6 thinking, this is the strong bishop, this is the bad bishop, let's trade. E5, knight d5, and then g4. This move made me excited because I saw that c5 looked really powerful. Now I think what our friend Runinja should have done is played knight to e4, prevent the c5 push with knight takes c5, right? And after this, let's say rook to c6, white has knight to e4, and all of a sudden, white is up a clear pawn. Or is it a clear pawn? Let's check. Knight to e4. Yes, it is. It is a pawn, but it's a very hard pawn to get. So I would say the key move here was either knight to d3, prevent c5, or knight to e4, threaten c5 as well. Because like in this moment, the pretty much the only sources of counterplay I have are f6 and c5. But I know that f6 is probably really bad because it weakens this pawn a lot. And I need these guys to stay strong. So my only source of play is c5 here. But after g4, I get my c5 in. g5, king g7. And all of a sudden, I have momentum now, right? Because there's no c3, because I can take, and knight takes c3. And I threaten these two guys, and I can dismantle the center. So things are going good. But knight e4, I can still take on d4 and take on e5, right? So what our friend Runinja should have done is saved the pawn here with knight to c4, right? You gotta save some pawns because the center is very, very important. So after pawn takes, rook takes, and knight takes e5, I was really happy. Rook to d8, go for the knights, knight to b7, rook to b8, knight to c5, and doubling up to put pressure on the c2 pawn. Knight to d3, I said knight to g4. I know I could take, but I could go to g4 and come to e3, right? Rook to e2, and I said, let's come to e3, because maybe there's a chance to go to f5. There's also a chance to push pressure on c2. So things are going my way. But then Runinja plays knight to c5, and I'm like, well, you're giving me two knights, so I'll take it. And the knight coordination is wonderful, right? You push the pawns, the knights are attacking squares, attack, check, and e3. I'm threatening rook to f1, checkmate. If you play rook h1, I'm going to play e2. You play king d2, I have double check, right? So king to c1, rook to f1, king to d2, and checkmate is coming. So things are trending my way again, right? Because of the coordination of the knights. So that ending was extremely tough, but it was an extremely tough game overall, right? Because I was attacking on the queen side, but our friend Runinja was blasting open the center. So what I should have done is here I maybe should have slowed down my b4 push a little bit because I could have maybe gotten my knight to c4, right? So there are some things I could work on. And after e4, this was all good, but e6 was not so great of a move because it didn't do much for me. It made a hole on d6. So So it was terrible judgment by me. And the fact that I never played c5 was disappointing, Bishop d6 is a good move, right? Rook to e1 looks decent as well. But after knight to d6, I still could have played c5. Except I didn't. I traded bishops. And here, this was the turning point. This was the point where Runinja could have really solidified that advantage. G4 was good, but it was more important to prevent me from doing my thing. And Runinja let me do my thing. I got to take, and I got to throw away the center. So then I had the pressure. I kept going with it. I moved my knights, had the coordination, and at this point, my activity was just too much for Runinja to handle. So it was a tough game, but it was a good game. So thank you, Runinja. It was a good game. It was a tough game. A lot of things that we both could work on. A lot of things that were interesting about the game, but nevertheless, thank you, and I'll see you next time.